Nick was already outside, leaning on the horn. She stood at the doorway, keys dangling loosely in her hand, lips shining with gloss, eyes fixed anywhere but on me. "Let's go," she said casually, as if she were inviting me to meet some harmless friend from yoga class. Not the man she'd been sneaking around with. My fingers tightened around the warm coffee mug. "If that man sets foot on this property," my voice was calm, measured, "I'll shatter his jaw. And if you walk out that door with him now, you'll regret it for the rest of your life." She blinked twice, caught off guard. Then a sharp laugh slipped out. Not because it was amusing, because she couldn't believe I'd finally drawn a line. Without another word, she turned the knob. I first met Elise 7 years ago on a crisp autumn afternoon. She wore a mustard-colored coat, and her smile carried the innocence of someone who hadn't yet learned what disappointment felt like. I was the steady one back then. She called me her anchor, the man who made her feel safe without demanding she prove her worth. We married 3 years later. I bought us a modest house tucked inside a quiet neighborhood. I painted the porch myself. Every Sunday morning, she'd hum old tunes while watering the flowers. That was my definition of love. That was happiness. But then the late-night gym sessions began. Her phone would buzz, and she'd ignore it with a smile that wasn't meant for me. She laughed at jokes I hadn't told. One night, her phone lit up while sitting on the couch. I reached for it. She snatched it away so quickly it nearly crashed to the floor. "Everyone deserves privacy, babe," she whispered. "Sure," I replied. Soon there was cologne on her coat, heavy and musky, not mine. It clung to her clothes like a dare. I stayed silent and began paying attention. She left her laptop open once, just once. Her Google Maps history told the entire story: a hotel by the river, visited twice that month. The same dates she'd claimed to be stuck at work dinners. Her deception wasn't sloppy. It was deliberate. Polished. That was the deepest cut, not just the betrayal, but how alive she looked with him. I stopped sleeping. I didn't rage, scream, or smash things. I simply remembered who I had been, the man she once leaned on like I was home. I wasn't fire. I was the tide. Quiet. Steady. And tides always reclaim what's theirs in the end. So, I hired someone, not to stalk her, but to gather undeniable proof. Screenshots. GPS logs. Photographs. Text messages. She didn't even bother using a fake name at the hotel. Quietly, I opened a separate bank account and began transferring money in small amounts. She didn't notice. I had the house title legally confirmed under my name. It had always been mine, purchased before marriage. Elise had laughed off the prenup years ago, never bothering to read the fine print. Then I waited. That morning, she painted her lips red. Elise only wore red when she wanted to feel untouchable. She walked to the door silently. I said nothing until her hand touched the knob. "If that man comes here," I repeated evenly, "I'll break his jaw. And if you leave with him, you'll regret it forever." Her smile faltered, just for a heartbeat. Then she stepped outside anyway. I stood at the window and watched her slide into Nick's car. She didn't even glance back. 10 minutes later, I made my calls. My lawyer filed for divorce, attaching every shred of evidence, dates, texts, photographs. The hotel receipts went directly to HR at her company. Nick, as it turned out, wasn't just her lover, he was her boss. The company had a zero-tolerance policy for workplace relationships. Within 48 hours, they were both suspended. I changed the locks, packed her belongings neatly, hired a courier to deliver them to her sister's place. When she returned that Sunday evening, she looked wrecked, mascara smudged, hair unkempt, exhaustion etched across her face. A note was taped to the door. "You bet your future on Nick. Cash it in." She called. She texted. She left voicemails. It didn't mean anything. He panicked. I don't even know where he is now. I ignored them all. 3 weeks later, I saw her again, in court. Elise looked smaller somehow, like the weight of her choices had finally caught up. Her lawyer asked for the house and alimony. Mine calmly handed over the prenup, along with photographs, timestamps, and her company's code of conduct. The judge barely raised an eyebrow. She left with nothing. As we exited, she hurried after me to the elevator. "Was any of it real?" she whispered. I looked at her. Really looked at her for the first time in months. "You tell me," I replied. "You're the one who walked away." The elevator doors slid shut. I didn't turn back. Some people gamble their lives on a lie, convinced there won't be consequences. Elise learned the truth the hard way, when she lost everything. You only get one person willing to take a bullet for you. After that, all you're left with are echoes of what might have been.